Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mahdi Tijani back with you. A story was related to me that I want to share with you. And it's about a sister who, she's not practicing. She doesn't cover. We don't know if she prays or not, but she doesn't cover. And for all intents and purposes, she's not a practicing sister. Now, this sister, she's in her early 20s, I believe, perhaps mid 20s. And she's looking to get married. She's trying to get married. And she was asked, what type of man are you looking for? And she reeled off her characteristics. This is the type of man I'm looking for. And one of the things that she mentioned was she doesn't want a man who is too practicing. Or more specifically, she wants a man with a halal-haram ratio that's in balance. a good halal-haram ratio. Now, without getting into the nuance of what that means, or you understand the point. Like someone who's practicing, but not too practicing, not too much. Anyway, so this sister, she's not practicing at all for all intents and purposes. Whether she prays or not, we don't know. But from what we can see, she doesn't practice. And she's looking for a husband who has a good halal-haram balance. Okay, good halal-haram ratio. One day, this sister goes out with another one of her friends who's in the same age bracket, also looking to get married. They're two young girls in their early to mid 20s, both looking to get married. Both of them don't cover. Both of them are not practicing for all intents and purposes. And they go out. And they go out to I think it's the local supermarket. And in the local supermarket, they come across a particular brother. Now, I need you to remember that this sister, the first one, is the same sister who said, I don't want someone too practicing. Someone with a good halal-haram ratio. Okay? They roll up to the supermarket. They enter the supermarket and they see this man. Now, this man, he's a black brother. He's got a beard. He's tall, he's handsome, and he's well-dressed. What was their response when they related this story? Both of them said, without approaching the brother or saying it to him directly, they were laughing and giggling with each other. Please, you can marry both of us. Take both of us and we'll wear niqab and gloves and whatever you want us to wear. Just marry us. Both of us. What does that tell you? What does that teach you? I'm going to get into it now. Firstly and foremostly, the fundamental rule that I keep going over time and time again is that women make rules for men they don't rate and break rules for men they do rate. Now, this is all perception because we don't know if this brother is truly a man of substance or not. They didn't even approach him. They didn't even speak to him. And it was based purely off his visual look. And I'm going to get to that in a second for the doomers and the black pill guys who are like, oh, but I'm not tall, I'm not handsome and so on. That would never happen to me. I'm coming to you. Don't worry. But I need to establish a clear principle here. And that is women will break rules for men that they rate. And part of that rating is looks. Now, looks is not enough. Looks gives you the ticket to the dance. But once you're at the dance, what do you do whilst you're there? If you don't know how to dance, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb, probably get kicked out if you're a bit too funky. So looks gets you a ticket to the dance, but it's not enough. If they had, for example, approached this brother and he turned out to be a geek, like, oh, hi girls, how are you doing? And he started speaking like that, it's going to put them off. Right? So looks in and of itself is not enough. Does it help? Of course it helps. This is undeniable. Women look for men who are taller, built a certain way, look a certain way, strong jawline, on and on. Fine. I get it. Those type of men have an advantage. Just as, for example, let's say you want to become an elite sprinter and you just don't have the genetic makeups, the genetic makeup to become a potential world record beater. It's just not in your genetic makeup. I think it's something like 97% of all 100-meter Olympic sprint finalists come from the same tribe in Africa. The same tribe. That's genetics right there. You can't help that. It is what it is. I get it. Some people, Michael Phelps, 24 Olympic gold medals or something like that, 21 or 24. His wingspan, okay, which is the tip of this finger to the tip of this finger, spread out. His height is 6'3", 6'4". His wingspan is 6'8". He's like a demon, like walking out with these long old arms, right? Like hovering past his knees. that's conducive to what? To a better pull when you're performing your strokes in swimming, whether it's front breaststroke, butterfly, front crawl, it doesn't matter. Freestyle, sorry. Whichever stroke you perform, because you've got a longer arm, you can basically pull more water. That's genetics. I'm not taking anything away from Michael Phelps. I know he's the hardest worker in the room and all of that, but genetics is an important part. Okay, we've established that. Looks are important. Looks get you the ticket to the dance, but genetics alone are not enough. Michael Phelps, with his 6'8" wingspan, would not have broken 21 gold medals, won 21 gold medals, Olympic gold medals, were it not for his brutal work ethic. Brutal, unrelenting work ethic. And that's what brings me to the next point. Very smoothly. Usain Bolt would not have broken that world record were it not for his unrelenting work ethic. Was he genetically blessed? Yes. Usain Bolt has the same, I forget the word they use in sprinting, but the cadence with which his feet moves is exactly the same as all the other elite sprinters, with one difference. Because he's so tall and his legs are so long, even though his legs are moving at the same speed as the other sprinters, his stride is longer. That's what enables him to run so fast. That's genetics, fine. But that's not enough. If Usain Bolt sat on his butt all day long and did nothing and did no training, he would never break any world records. That's common sense. You know this. I know this, you know this. I don't need to explain this to you. So where am I going with this? What am I trying to allude to? What I'm alluding to is this, gentlemen, particularly those of you who are perhaps below average in height, below average in looks, below average in physique. This is to you. Looks gets you the ticket to the dance, but it doesn't guarantee you will walk away with a dance partner. Understand that. It gets you the ticket, but what guarantees that you will walk away with a dance partner is the person you become, which is predicated upon the work you put in. Just as Michael Phelps won all those gold medals and Usain Bolt broke all those world records, that was predicated upon the work. Now, when nature and nurture come together, this is an unbeatable double whammy. It is true. If you're an average looking man, or perhaps you're even below average looking, below average height, below average physique, which can be worked on, by the way, your physique at least can be worked on, then it is true. You are not going to be able to compete with a man who's very good looking, very tall, in great shape, and works on himself. You're not going to be able to compete with him. I'm going to just put it out there for you. You can't compete with him. It is what it is. I will never be able to compete with Usain Bolt. I don't have the genetics for it. I can work as hard as I like. I am not genetically built to break 100-meter world records. I am not genetically built, most probably, to even make the cut for the Olympic team, which is around 10.18 seconds for 100-meter sprint. I'm not genetically built for it. I'm genetically built for other things, but not sprinting. Know thyself. Marathon runners, most marathon runners, the elite ones, also come from a specific region in Africa as well. Strongmen, why are so many world's strongest men from the same part of the world, typically those Icelandic countries? Even if they're representing another country like America or Canada, their roots still take them back to basically the Vikings. The Vikings. Why? Genetic predisposition. Tall, long levers, very strong. The longer the lever, the more force you can apply. And if you build muscle on top of that, it's an unbeatable combo. Genetics, that's nurture. And my apologies, that's nature. You can't control that, but you can control nurture. Now, you as a man, you cannot control how tall you are or what you look like necessarily. You can influence your physique, however, your body. You can influence that. And no matter how unattractive you may think you are as a man, physically, I'm going to get to the internal part in a second, but no matter how unattractive you think you are as a man physically, you can put in some work to improve yourself. We all can. We can all be in good shape. And by the way, short guys have the best structure for muscular physiques. You will notice the most symmetrical, the most beautiful looking bodybuilders were the shorter guys, the likes of Sean Ray and Lee Priest. Them guys were short guys, but their proportions were immense. Shorter guys always have better proportions, better looking physiques than tall, gangly guys. It is what it is. So work on that. That's in your control. Now, let's get to the meat of the matter, which is the nurture. Nature is one thing. Now the nurture, which is putting in that work. You as a man, being good looking, if you are good looking, that gets you the ticket to the dance, like I said, but that doesn't guarantee you will walk away with a dance partner, with a wife. It doesn't guarantee you. What guarantees that? Well, firstly and foremostly, we're Muslim men, so let's cross the fundamentals, the basics. You're practicing your deen, your religion. You pray 5 times a day. You're seeking knowledge. You're abstaining from the muharramat. You can summarize this in one ayah. And the ayah in Surah Al-Mulk, where Allah says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. Verily, those who fear Allah in private, they will have maghfirah, forgiveness, and a great reward. So we can summarize the religious side of this discussion with that single ayah. Fear Allah when you are alone, in private. If you can do that, you've got that taken care of. Okay, good. Then what? Then after that, strive as a man to be exceptional in whatever it is that you do, whatever your chosen field, whatever you're doing, whatever course of study or business or philanthropy, whatever it is you're doing, strive to be the best. That's the second point. Mediocrity is not acceptable. And the less genetically blessed you are, the more important this becomes for you. Yes, those who are genetically blessed can slack off a bit more and still get away with it. Just as if you are genetically blessed to sprint fast, you will go a long way without putting in much work. Michael Phelps was known to not put in much work when he was a kid. He could easily complete all of the swim workouts that Bob Bowerman gave him with ease. It wasn't hard for him. It was only when he became older that Bob Bowerman started really tying him down with much more difficult workouts. He found the workouts that all the other kids were doing easy. Why? Genetics is what it is. But that only takes you so far. Now, if you as a man are less genetically blessed in what women are looking for, height, looks, and so on, you will have to work harder on the other variables you can control. That is pursuing excellence in whatever it is you are doing. Pursuing excellence and not making excuses. And then after that, the third and final thing. So we've covered the deen. We've covered pursuing excellence. Finally, after that, your personal development up here. Who you become up here in your head, in your mind, what you become up here is most important. After the deen, that is what is most important. Crucial, fundamental. I cannot emphasize it enough. And it's why I've taken this video with the backdrop of my books right there. Because the beauty of reading books is this. You are able to digest the lifetime's work of an author, potentially the lifetime's work of an author with an investment of £10 or $10, and you can read it over 3, 4, 5, 6 days. An entire lifetime worth of experience. That is a tremendous bargain not to be passed up. Stop wasting time on your social media. Stop wasting time on your YouTube, on your Netflix, and all the rest of it. Unless you're on YouTube learning, that is. But for the most part, stop wasting time because you don't have time. And if you are less genetically blessed, then you have a greater burden of responsibility to put in that work to make yourself more attractive to the opposite sex. So remember, women make rules for men they don't rate and break them for men that they do. That same girl who said, I want a man with a good halal-haram ratio, and she doesn't even practice. She jokingly said, but remember, in jokes, there is often some truth. Take me and my friend, both of us. You can have both of us. And we'll dress head to toe in niqab and gloves and all the rest of it. Girls who don't even cover. Now, yes, fine, that brother was a good-looking brother and so on. My point is this. You can still compensate by putting in the work in the variables that you can control. If you found value in the video, hit the like, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and share this with a brother. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.